The corner, the corner, the corner.
Hey, welcome. Come on into Cousin Ed's Corner. This podcast is where you'll find real, authentic conversation, organic conversation, unscripted, unfiltered conversation, like you're home with your cousin. It's all about life. It's about finance. It's about spirituality. It's about love and everything in between. I'm your host, Cousin Ed. I'm excited to bring you along on this journey. So sit back and listen in as we dive into a wide range of topics. I have some diverse guests coming on with an array of thoughts and opinions. My goal is to create a space all for us to connect and communicate. It's not really about me. It's about the community as a whole. Let's enjoy it. Let's sit back. Let's think about our past. Let's move into our future. It's about
the corner, the corner, the corner. So no matter how you cut it or slice it, we're all here together. I'm just here to give you a piece of my heart, my mind, my soul, and my mentals. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Cousin Ed's Corner. The corner, the corner, the corner. The corner, the corner, the corner.
Hey, welcome. Come on into Cousin Ed's Corner. This podcast is where you'll find real, authentic conversation, organic conversation, unscripted, unfiltered conversation, like you're home with your cousin. It's all about life. It's about finance. It's about spirituality. It's about love and everything in between. I'm your host, Cousin Ed. I'm excited to bring you along on this journey. So sit back and listen in as we dive into a wide range of topics. I have some diverse guests coming on with an array of thoughts and opinions. My goal is to create a space all for us to connect and communicate. It's not really about me. It's about the community as a whole. Let's enjoy it. Let's sit back. Let's think about our past. Let's move into our future. It's about
the corner, the corner, the corner. So no matter how you cut it or slice it, we're all here together. I'm just here to give you a piece of my heart, my mind, my soul, and my mentals. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Cousin Ed's Corner. The corner, the corner, the corner.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. What's going on, fam? What's going on, fam? We are back. We're back with another one. Cousin Ed's Corner. When my sister wins, we all win. And today, once again, we're winning. We are definitely winning with this queen we have on today. I am honored. I am overjoyed, overwhelmed with some of the conversation that I think we're going to have today. But truly, I think we're blessed to have this sister on today. So this queen, I appreciate you. I don't even know how to tee you up because I've been waiting to have you on the show. So it's just amazing to have you here. Family, welcome Jessica Guthrie. How are you doing, Queen?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm you know what? We both are sitting here after 30 minutes of technical difficulty. So I am better now.
We made it. We made it through.
We have made it through this. We made it through a couple of schedule changes, and I want to thank you for allowing me to take up some of your time. Your time is definitely precious. I want to thank you for allowing me to take up some of your time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Once we got connected, we had to make it happen. So I'm excited to chat with you today.
Well, I'm definitely excited to have you on. Hey, fam. Like y'all know, most of the show is organic. So I had a brief conversation with Miss Guthrie before talking. Or I'm gonna say my sister because I'm now connected to her. This queen is amazing. I can't wait to get into this. But real quick, I like to always ask everybody, tell us a little bit about yourself. I don't want to hear the Pampa story, but I like to tell what got you here where you are today. So, kid bringing up, high school, college, all, just bring us up to today to introduce yourself to the audience.
Wow, what got me to today? Okay, hello everyone. I am Jessica Guthrie, and I am the daughter of Constance Guthrie. I was born and raised in Virginia, and I'm currently living in Virginia while serving as the full-time caregiver for my mom, who has been living with Alzheimer's disease for the last 10 years, and 10 years and counting. She's still here and still thriving in her current stage. I what got me here, right? I'm an only child. She's a single mom. And she raised me to be someone who would be independent and bold and unapologetic about who I was, and was always clear that I was destined for greatness and destined to accomplish whatever I put my mind to. And that's very much how my mother raised me. And that's, I believe, what I'm living in right now, as I'm, yes, her caregiver, but also someone who is leading and advocating and supporting so many others in this caregiving space, in the education space, and the advocacy space. And so, yeah, what got me here is a hard-working, praying Black woman, where I was her 39-year-old surprise. She thought she had the flu. I was 9-month flu. And honestly, the best thing that could have probably ever happened to her. And so what got me here was a lot of love, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of intentional care on her part. And now I have the honor of giving all of that love and sacrifice and intentional care back to her.
As y'all can hear, she is, I don't know if it's from this experience. I see some degrees behind you, but she is well polished. I've seen her on many stages and speaking. You stand up strong. I say that much. You stand up strong. I don't know if I can do what you do. I don't know if many people can do what you do. So I want to say hats off to you and thank you for being that person you are, especially, I know in my stage right now, parenting parents is hard, and you way above normal parenting a parent. So,
We've always been overachievers over here, right? So
you mentioned some things that I can relate with, being an only child, being able to, like I said, parent your parents. How was it growing up with your mom and you and her and with a relationship?
Oh, such a good question. We've been two peas in a pod from the beginning. I think, when I was growing up, I did not like having an older mom. Like, my mom was 39 when she had me. And so I always felt like my mom was so strict and very disciplined and you couldn't do anything. Right. But I realized now that I'm much older that my mom was truly shaping me and molding me and looking out for my best interest always. And so growing up with my mom, to give y'all insight, my mom owned a hair salon in Alexandria, Virginia for 18 years. My mom was an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, a world traveler. My mom managed multiple people and ran her shop. Okay. So I grew up in the hair salon. So I grew up, becoming the hostess with the mostest. I learned how to engage and talk with adults early, right? And so I share that because I think that's a key component to my identity as someone who's always just been responsible, has always been a listener and a connector and able to communicate well with other people because I had to do it at such a young age. So my mom, when it was time for me to go to school, she sold her business. She gave up her brick and mortar hair salon and we moved to suburban Virginia because, at the time it was where the best schools were. And so, she built a house here in the suburbs. And honestly, my entire childhood and adolescent life was a direct reflection of my mother literally there every step of the way, every recital, every choir concert, every extracurricular, every little thing. My mom was taking me and present and there. I even went to the same middle school she taught at, right? I've never really known life separate from my mom until I went to college. And I think that those experiences actually have what led me to be so sacrificial in my approach to care now because of what I saw her do and how I experienced what sacrifice and love looked like growing up.
Mm-hmm. So you spoke of her teaching. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So after she sold her shop, she knew that she needed to get a job that would allow her to be around for me while I was in school. And so she was like, well, how about working in the school system? That way she had the same holidays, same days off, snow days. And so that was her strategic way of being available again for me. And so she actually became a special ed paraprofessional in the local school district and was there for 17 years, same school, same team. And I mean, it was very much a second career and she loved it. Like she truly loved working with students. And it's so funny now, I talk to people who were in like either in her class or like knew of her. And they were like, man, Miss Guthrie was so cool. She was always just looking out for us. It's like to know my mom through the eyes of other kids is just really powerful. Mm-hmm.
That is amazing. Me and you talked a second ago before jumping on while we was doing some technical stuff. And I talked about me being in the school district. That was part of the reason why I went. I was like, my kids are already here and I can, it's a sacrifice, but I can be here with them and be able to, have the same holidays and things like that also. Yeah. Definitely special times that you had a chance to share with your mom. When you graduated and went to college, how far did you go?
Yes, I wanted to leave Virginia, probably because I was like, I gotta get away from all the things and get away from my mom. And so actually, I went to Dartmouth College in New Hampshire. It's a small Ivy League in the middle of Hanover, New Hampshire, in the mountains. It was beautiful. So it was like an 11-hour drive away. And to get there, you had to fly to Boston and drive 2.5 hours to get to New Hampshire. Like it wasn't an easy feat. Like I chose the most complicated place to go for undergrad. But honestly, that experience, being away from my mom, but also just like being in a new place and space where I was able to cultivate and grow, was the best 4 years of my life. And, navigating the Ivy League world as a young Black girl from Virginia was also a set of culture shock in itself. But again, probably the best 4 years of my life because I was never told no. I always had the resources and the access to do the things that I wanted to do. Right. And my world was just opened to so many perspectives, experiences, and opportunities that I would have never had if I would have stayed in like small town Virginia. So grateful. So grateful.
And what would you study?
Yeah, so I was a sociology major with an education policy minor. So I spent a lot of time studying race, class, ethnicity, education policy. In my heart of hearts, I deeply wanted to become Secretary of Education. Like that was the end goal on the vision board. And so I wanted to set myself up to be able to fulfill that role one day. I don't know what I want to do now, but
we need you. We need you right now.
If the department even exists, yeah.
Look, we need you right now. Sadly enough, we do need you. But no, you have a bigger role now in what you're doing, so it's much bigger than anything else. Yeah. But so you decided after leaving college, Ivy League, what happened next?
Yeah, so after Dartmouth, because I had like education aspirations, I joined a program called Teach for America. It's a national organization that recruits recent college graduates to teach in low-income schools in rural and urban areas around the country. And so I was placed in Dallas, Texas, and I taught high school social studies, South Oak Cliff. Yeah, and so I was with my students who were between the ages of 16 and 25. I was in an accelerated high school program, and it was the best time, right? Like, yes, I was a teacher, but I learned so much more from my students than I could have ever taught them.
I'm just listening to you speak now. You coming from small town, going up to Dartmouth, which is another small town. It's not a large. I've been up there before.
Yep.
Not large, but it's a good community, great community, different, very diverse. Not diverse. It's, yeah, you get what I'm saying.
White sky, white snow, white people. It's not diverse at all.
Yeah. Diverse for you coming from where you came from. Yeah. Then you went to Texas, Dallas area, which you had another experience, right? Mm-hmm. So experiencing that, how long were you in Dallas?
I essentially was in Dallas for 10 years.
So you did 10 years. Now I gotta compliment us as a people, you look like you just got out of school yourself. So I don't know where all this math. I was doing math on paper, and you said your mom 10 years. You went to college, I know, at least 4, and you did 10. The math ain't mathing, but
it is math. It does math.
I'll put that back on good genes and our melanin.
Yes, we do have really good genes.
Yeah.
I will say I'm currently 36 years old. I became a caregiver at 26, and I'm 36 now. And my mom had just turned 76. So
definitely a blessing, but I would not guess that at all. So, going back to on topic. So you did 7 years in Texas teaching, and at what point? So right now I'm doing 4 and 7, 11 years away from home. At what point did you start realizing and deciding that you need to come back home? But was that the decision because of that?
Yeah, so I want to be crystal clear. I taught high school for 2 years, and then I joined the nonprofit Teach for America, and so I became an education executive, like a teacher. I became a coach, and then a director, and then a manager, and then my last job before I left Teach for America was chief program officer and vice president. And so I'm not your normal millennial. I stayed at one job for so many years, but I was able to move up and grow. But yes, I did stay in education, nonprofit leadership, and so I officially moved. I changed my home base in 2019. So my mother was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's disease in 2014.
Okay.
And I was truly a long distance caregiver traveling back and forth. Like I would fly home for 5 days, meal prep, set up routines, doctor's appointments, all the things, but then go back to my life in my home in Texas. Mm-hmm. And it got to be, it was just too much. And by 2019, my mom had started wandering, meaning she was like bolting out the front door, going across the street to the neighbor's house. It was getting to be too much for me from afar. Mm-hmm. And so I officially changed my location in 2019 and then formally moved away from Texas, like formal, nothing else there. Car finally back in Virginia in 2023. Post-COVID.
After COVID.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And side note, right? Like when COVID started, I, packed up my stuff to go on like my typical 2 weeks at home trip and then come back to Dallas for my week for work. And that 2 weeks at home turned into a whole year, basically, because, everything shut down, everything became virtual, and I never made it back to Texas until, honestly, summer 2022. But I digress. What was I saying? Oh, I left Texas because of my mom's diagnosis and because I knew that I needed to be more present and I could no longer justify having a separate life, apartment, spending all this money in one place, but be spending majority of my time in Virginia. And so that's when I changed locations to move back home to my childhood bedroom to take care of her.
Understandable. Now, are you still with Teach for America? Okay.
Good question. So I resigned from my job spring 2023. Okay. At that point, my mom was declining. And in 2022, I put her on home hospice for the first time. And I realized even though I thought I was a great multitasker, even though I had been working full time this entire time, my mom needed more attention. My mom needed my focus, and I was honestly still giving her the short end of the stick. And so I had said a whole year in advance that this would be my last year. And so I left, and I now care for my mom full time without having to worry about balancing, managing other people or a team or outcomes of another organization, which has been great.
Excellent. And it's definitely a blessing you were able to do that, and big sacrifice. But they did it for us. So like you said, your mom gave up everything and moved down to the suburbs and everything for you. And that's just a minor thing. A lot of people don't realize we only have this time here, right? This moment me and you have right now, and the moments we have right after, the moments we had today, tomorrow's not promised. So you put in what you can while you can. So Definitely want to keep encouraging you and letting you know that it's probably daunting at times. It's probably questionable at times. It's so many things that you probably go through in your moments, but may these words keep you lifted up and encouraged in all that you're doing. So, all right, let's get on. Let's move before we get a little too heavy. So you decide to go a full-time caregiver. I saw something on your page helping others calculate caregiving. So how did that transition so far as salary and you being able to be a full-time caregiver and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's been difficult. I think that people, I want to make sure I say clearly for anyone listening, right? Like the choice to leave my job was not a light or an easy choice. Mm-hmm. I also wasn't leaving being like, I got X, Y, and Z thing lined up. I got a whole bunch of money coming in. Like, no, I left believing in myself that like I could work for myself and like, make ends meet. And I think for the last year and a half, it has been like making ends meet. And so I've been doing that through consulting and working with different companies and organizations as like a caregiver consultant to share the caregiving experience as people have been, developing products, programs, such and so forth. But then the piece that I really love is this piece around equipping and empowering family caregivers. Mm-hmm. Because the reality is, especially if they're a millennial, there's very few resources or just like support for people to navigate what it means when you become a caregiver. And so for the last year and a half, I've been running workshops. I've been running or facilitating workshops with different organizations. I've been coaching people around just their caregiving experiences. And that's truly been so enriching and eye-opening because you realize like everyone's aging. We're all aging, right? We're all going to need support. Yet everyone is oftentimes jumping to the deep end trying to figure it out. And that's unacceptable. So anyway, how's it working out? Like right now, I've really been able, I'm really grateful and blessed that we've been able to keep things going, keep things afloat. But the reality is, when we think about care in this country, my mom doesn't qualify for Medicaid, so state-based aid. So I'm not getting paid to be her caregiver or getting any sort of compensation to care for her. Everything out of pocket, right? When we think about the systems, my mom is, yes, now enrolled in home hospice, but that support is like, just a nurse visit once a week and a CNA twice a week. And so much of my care is still solo and alone, and there's no compensation for that. So a lot of my work comes through, partnerships, collaborations, and supporting others, but it's not as consistent as someone might expect. And I truly miss the 9-to-5 job, the benefits, the PTO, the insurance, right? Like the consistency. I miss that.
I'm going to cuss and fuss for a minute for you. I don't understand. And this is not only for you, for everyone out there. I know a couple other people that I've had on the show and a couple of other people that I speak with that are out on their own that cannot find the help that they truly need for something they're passionately doing that is not, and nothing against anybody who's doing any kind of sales or anything like that, who's truly doing something to help others. And I really hated that, we go to the GoFundMe's and we go to the buy me a cup of coffee, and we go to all of these tip jar kind of things, and nothing against them, right? But it should be corporations, organizations, us as a people helping each other out, where it should be some kind of pool out here where I don't get it. So I know you're frustrated with it because you live with it every day, but I truly don't understand how we can go and buy Jordans, nails, hair, all these things in our community. And I'm not even talking, let's just talk about education alone. It's a whole nother, we can have another show about it, but it frustrates me. I've been talking about this for years about we are our own enemy. So I don't get it, but I digress again. I hope and pray that after today and each and every day that you continue to be supported financially, emotionally, and everything else in some kind of way. Because there's no reason why any company, let's say the corporate, not even us, let's go past us, right? Any corporation can't put you on some kind of books as, a full-time consultant.
Mm-hmm.
You're speaking, you should be able to do a number of speaking engagements throughout the year to be able to sustain what you're doing. So I hope and pray that one person finds you, or no, let's say a couple of people find you and have you throughout their organization. So
I receive it. 2025, yes. It'll happen.
Tomorrow.
Come on.
Tomorrow. Yeah. So, I could talk to you all day. I don't want to keep you all night, but the reason why this show was so passionate for me, my family has suffered with dementia, Alzheimer's, and I see it daily. Not me personally. I do see it personally, but not me in my household. One of my aunts currently is suffering with that, and her daughters are, her caregivers. Fortunately, they have some help and they able to get some assistance and things of that nature. But it's still, I've seen it firsthand being hard for them. I have another family member suffering with it right now. Young, she's young, going through it. Her mother had it, and so I've seen it firsthand, and it's a devastating disease. I call it it's a bad disease because, but it's sometimes good because they laugh and they don't know they don't even have, they just tomorrow they just back the same person. It could be ravishing I've seen other people go through, terrible other diseases, and it was bad, but this one right here it's a mess. So hopefully they can come up with some kind of cure, deterrent, preventative, to help with this disease. That's why I was so passionate to have you on this show, because I've seen it firsthand. So
yeah, you're right. I mean, it's an ugly disease, and it's a long disease. I think that's the thing that people often forget is like, it's not like you're getting like a cancer diagnosis where it's like,
that's what I was saying.
You're going to have like this specific amount of time, right? And like people know what that looks like for you to deteriorate from some form of cancer. Mm-hmm. People forget that like Alzheimer's disease, 10, 15 years easily, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like people evolve through it differently. And so it's very ugly because you literally watch someone change and become someone completely different. But the thing that I'll say for anyone listening, right? Like, just because you have a diagnosis doesn't mean it's the end. The reality is my mom is still very present. She still hears me. She still feels, joy and connection and music. And so I, especially in the Black community, when people are living with any form of dementia, it's like, oh, well, they just got memory problems, or like, oh, it's just dementia. And it's like, no, like, let's get a diagnosis so we can own this thing, right? And be really clear and confident about how we want to support our people, because they deserve dignity and respect to the very end, no matter how long the journey is, Definitely.
I want to stay right there on the dementia part for a second, and I want to end with some good things about Miss Constance. All right. So the dementia part, I've been doing research since, like I said, I have family members that suffer with it, and just everybody that knows me, they said the internet is a gift, and I say internet is a gift and a curse, right? So now that I have it in my algorithm, I get all this stuff, right? And they talk about it being diabetes with the third what do you call it?
Type 3 diabetes.
Type 3 diabetes. And so helping us, watch our sugars and things like that. Hopefully studies continue to grow on it and help with some of the preventative stuff. What are some of the things that you can tell someone to look for early, and some things you've learned over the years that may help slow it down?
Great questions. So the first thing I have to say just about Constance. So my mom is not someone who suffered from high blood pressure. My mom did not have diabetes. My mom had no other negative health markers. And so I share that because I think that mainstream media will talk about, how the Black community is deeply impacted by Alzheimer's disease, and they'll directly correlate it to all these other factors like high sugar, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. You're like, yeah, those we need to address those things, like, because they do have direct connections. But what I don't want to do is, like, not every Black person has those things that's going to get diagnosed. And I never want people to generalize or lump us all into, like, this is why we're disproportionately impacted. No, right? Like, we're disproportionately impacted by this disease because we're navigating systems of racism and oppression. That's a different conversation. I'll get to that in a second. To the question that you asked me, Ed, is I do believe that your heart health and your brain health are deeply connected. And oftentimes, based on the research, we know that dementia, particularly Alzheimer's disease, starts forming well before you even see your first symptom. But the things that you can be doing now, such as, like, good cardiovascular health, so walking, exercising, getting your movement in. How are you thinking through your diet? I'm never going to be like, subscribe to this specific diet, but making sure you're having healthy fruits, vegetables, getting all your vitamins and minerals through good foods, right? Not just supplements. I also think that, like, we underestimate just the power of, like, water and hydration, right? Like, dehydration and the brain just do not work well together over time. And so really thinking about, like, what am I eating to keep my inflammation down? What am I eating to ensure that I'm, like, well nourished? And how am I being consistent in, like, protecting my cardiovascular health? Because the thing that we often see, especially in Black folks, is vascular dementia. Vascular dementia is directly connected to strokes. What causes strokes? High blood pressure, right? So it is all connected for a really specific type of dementia. The thing that I'll also say, my mom has been living 10 years, and yes, she's in the later stages. My mom is a 7D on the fast scale. She's fully bedbound, no longer ambulatory, fully incontinent, mostly nonverbal, right? Like, by all accounts, my mother is at the later stage of Alzheimer's disease. But I like to say my mom is still thriving, y'all, because my mom, I have prioritized what goes into her system, the energy that I bring around her, right? And the things that we do to keep her engaged. And so what I mean is, like, my mom is 99% vegan. I say 99% because she still loves ice cream. I'm not going to deprive her of ice cream at this age, right? But she's 99% vegan, right? Which, you know, I do think just the nutrition factor plays a part in the longevity. My mom, I'm very picky about the energy that comes in this space. If there is a negative energy, or if you're not truly focused on her, you don't get to come in or come back. Why? Because we keep positive thoughts, you know, positive affirmations, and what we talk about and how we talk about it matters, because that all impacts longevity. And I think the last thing I'll say is, you know, I've never stopped talking to my mom. What keeps someone, like, engaged is I treat my mom like the human she's always been, continue to engage in our gossip conversations, to sing gospel music, to really just keep up the traditions so that she feels seen and valued and affirmed. Like, those aspects of love you cannot underestimate when it comes to navigating dementia.
Well, we talk about your mom. I want to make sure of Miss Constance. I enjoy every video, every moment y'all have together. It is cherishable. I act like I know her. When you have your great days with her, I'm cheering over here. And like I said, I read the comments. Everybody's cheering for her birthday. I saw that. And I think this week, with the car situation, she gave you some encouraging. What was it?
Yeah, I told her I broke down on the side of the road, and she was like, "I'm sorry." Like,
yeah,
she
look at that.
Along. Yeah.
And, you know, like you said, she's bedbound, and it's amazing that they are still in, not only Constance, but they are still in there, and he's still keeping them around. So I want to definitely and keep you encouraged, and definitely whatever I can do, we can do at Cousin Ed's Corner. Definitely let us know to help out any way we can. Listen, guys and gals, she was broke down, and I'm on the computer and on the phone looking like, how can we help? You know, so whatever we can do, definitely. This is now your family, and we are here to help. And we're going to keep praying. We're going to keep praying for both of you. Definitely for this disease to turn itself around. We put everything in his hands. No matter what his will is, we, let it be done, but continue to lift you up, continue to lift her up. And I like to have you back. Anything you want to say about Miss Constance before we get out of here?
Oh, wow. To say about my mom. I just, I think I'll close by just saying she is the epitome of resilience and strength. And I know that in the end of the day, I have no control over when this journey ends for her and for us. But I know that while she's still here, she is very much clicked in and connected and sees and hears everything. And it's just a reminder of just the power of being present and proximate and seeing her for all that she has been and all that she is, because she is truly basking in that and shining. And so I'm just really grateful for her resilience and what she's still teaching me, even till this day, about patience, right? And connectivity and deep relationship. And so I'm just really proud to be her daughter. And I'm grateful that I get a chance to pour back into her all that she poured into me.
You're doing a great job. Never doubt yourself. Your blessings, you're already blessed, but your blessings are still coming. So speaking of your blessings, listen, everybody out there, please, I'm gonna plead to you, please be sure to go out and support this young lady, support Miss Constance as well. Send flowers, send well wishes. That's free. I mean, well wishes is free. Clicks, on her, page. Be sure that's free, but donations definitely help, right? I don't care what it is. If it is the cup of coffee, if you have connections at companies, let me ask this question real quick. Do you have a nonprofit as well?
I don't have a nonprofit, but I'm in the midst of starting my own business. That'll be a consulting business to be formalized in all the things that I have been doing. So that's coming in 2025. So stay tuned.
Let's talk offline about the nonprofit piece. I know a lot of companies donate their nonprofits, and we can work around some technical stuff in that way. But no, and anybody out there that wants to help, please step up. Help, even if not Miss Jessica, helping your community, yes. Help somebody else. Our job on this earth is to give back to others. And I'm going to plead with you to help Miss Jessica and her and Miss Constance, but somebody else. If you can go read, if you can go play the piano, if you can go sing, whatever you can go do in these communities where the less fortunate is. It don't have to be even Alzheimer's. It could be somebody with cancer. It could be somebody kid. It could be no matter what. We need to give back to others, because that light that you shine helps them keep going and gives them the spark. So kind words, time, definitely financially helps as well. But anything you can do to help, please do. Please tell them how they can reach out to you, how they can help, donate. Just send kind words. Where can they reach you at?
Yes, the best place to find us is on Instagram. If you have Instagram, it is at Career Caregiving Collide. Career Caregiving Collide. You can also go to our website at jessicacguthrie.com. You can reach out to me there, send us messages, and see parts of our story. So jessicacguthrie.com is the best one.
I will have all that linked into the notes of the show, but if not, you can definitely reach her via Cousin Ed's Corner, top of the page. You can leave her a voicemail. I'll definitely send it to her. Also, DM me and I'll put a connection together. I like to keep working with you, like to do a couple things and hopefully help out throughout the year. We're in 2025 now, so let's make some things happen.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad we finally connected, Cousin Ed.
Definitely. You are now part of the family. I don't know if you partake, but if you ever come over, the key's under the mat. The brown is under the cabinet, the clear is above the cabinet, and the red cup's right there on the camera. So help yourself.
I'll be in Atlanta, so watch out. Yeah.
Hey, it's here for you. Family, hopefully y'all enjoyed this show. This one right here, I was looking forward to this one, and looking forward to the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I love each and every one of you. There's nothing you can do about it. Please continue to be blessed. Continue to help others. We're out of here. Peace.
Hello, everyone. This is Jessica Guthrie of When Career and Caregiving Collide on Instagram and jessicacguthrie.com. And when I'm not the full-time caregiver of my mother who is living with Alzheimer's disease, advocating and supporting family caregivers, or speaking up for more equitable policies for family caregivers, you can find me listening to Cousin Ed's Corner.
Hey, y'all. Aisha here, founder and CEO of the Sistahs in Business Expo, the country's only multi-city small business expo and community created to celebrate and educate entrepreneurial women of color. Be sure to tune in to the next episode of Cousin Ed's Corner. And remember, when my sister wins, we all win.
This episode of Cousin Ed's Corner was brought to you by the Sistah Shop. Please be sure to visit them at thesistahshop.com. That's THESISTAHSHOP.com. thesistahshop.com. Thank you for listening to Cousin Ed's Corner.